Hello, this is Lisa from Happy Stamp, and today we are going to be making these little faceted Easter eggs that you can fill with goodies or not, and you can hang them on a tree, on one of those little twig trees, so that would be cute. But they will hold, I don't have anything in, I'm going to put something in the next one that I make so we can see how many that they hold. This one I made, this ribbon, I made this one in the balmy blue with the balmy blue, what's it called? Balmy blue white variegated ribbon. And it's a little thicker, so it holds this closed without adhesive. This ribbon, this crinkled seam binding ribbon, is not as sturdy, so I did put a dot of glue on there and kind of let it get tacky, and then it can come apart without you ripping it. This one, I just glued it shut, so if you give this one, or if I give this one to someone, well, I'm not going to give this to someone because there's nothing in it, but if I were to give it to someone, it would be destroyed. These two you could definitely use again. So just however, you want to close it. Yeah. All right. I got this off of Sam at Mixed Up Craft, I think it is. Mixed Up Crafts, something like that. She's in the UK, I believe, but you can get 2 of these out of 1 sheet of our designer series paper, or our cardstock. So that's why I chose this one. I know there was a couple more out there, but you could only get 1. So I wanted to see if I could get 2, and then I found hers, and I'm like, yay. All right, so I have a piece of a Sweet Sorbet cardstock. This one is one that is sticking around. We have another year with this one yet. Excuse me, the other colors, let's see, Fresh Freesia, Pale Papaya, Polished Pink, Evening Evergreen, and Soft Succulent, they are all leaving us this, I believe that it is in April. So if you are wanting the re-inker, the marker, another ink pad, your designer series paper packs, these, the cardstock, you need to get it now because everything is on low inventory. So those are ones that you need to get them now. Don't wait, because as soon as they're done, they're gone. They're not coming back. Okay, enough of that. So I'm using the Country Gingham 6x6 Designer Series paper stack, and these are nice because the images on there are little. So this comes in, and they're nice pastel colors, so they're good for Easter. Balmy Blue, Mint Macaron, Petal Pink, and Sweet Sorbet. So I've made the Balmy Blue and the Sweet Sorbet. I'm going to make some of the other colors as well. I'm just going to put them around my house for little decorations. You could get a small basket and, put a whole bunch in a basket. Easter favors, table favors. However, they're good for lots of things. Okay, let's get started here instead of me blabbering. Okay, so this piece of Sweet Sorbet measures 4.5 by 6 1/4. And on the 6 1/4 inch side, I'm going to try and remember to put up the score lines. I hope I don't forget. But, yeah, knowing me, I will. If I do forget, I'll put them down below. But hopefully I'll remember to put them on the screen. All right, so on the 6 1/4 inch side, you're going to be scoring at every 3/4 of an inch all the way across. So 3/4, 1.5, 2 1/4, 3, 3 3/4, 4 1/2, 5 1/4, 5 1/4, and 6. Not too bad, I didn't do it too hard. All right. Then you're going to turn it on the 4 1/2 inch side, and you're going to score it at 3/4, 1 1/2, 2 1/4, and 3 3/4. Yes. I'm like, is that right? Yes, it's right. Because these are 3 3/4. I'm like, is that supposed to be 1/2 inch? No, it's not. Okay, you're going to keep your stylus that I did find. All right, you're going to bring in a ruler, and I'm bringing in my Stampin' Pierce mat. I want to make sure that the 1/4 inch, the smallest over here, is on the right. I'm questioning everything I'm doing now. And I've made 3 of them. Okay, so I'm going to put my ruler right up to the first score line. And you want to score in the middle of every other square. So I'm skipping the first square. So this one would be 1 1/8. Don't press too hard. You don't want to press, put a hole in your paper. I have not done that, but that doesn't mean I wouldn't. 2 5/8. 4 1/8. And 5 5/8. Okay, so we just have, I don't know if you're going to be able to see that, but there's a little dimple in each of, in every other square. All right, we're going to do the same thing down at the bottom on the last score mark. I'm going to put this up to the score line, and 1 1/8. 2 5/8, 4 1/8, and 5 5/8. All right, so I have a little dimple here and here. Okay, now we're going to take our ruler again, and we're going to make 2 diagonal score lines. So I'm putting my ruler right up to my stylus. I'm swinging my ruler around to make sure that it is going to, the stylus ball is going to hit in the middle of the cross right here. So I want to give a score there. You could do this without a Stampin' Pierce mat. I just think you get a bigger groove score line when you use your Stampin' Pierce mat, but again, you could make a hole in your paper, so you really want to be careful not to give too much pressure. But when I was doing it the other way, I wasn't getting a big enough groove in my score line in my paper. It's always good to put your stylus down before you put your ruler up to it. That way you get exactly where you need to be. Okay, so those diagonals went down. These diagonals are going to go in these rectangles right here, and they are going to go up. So I'm going to, again, put my stylus in my score line here, or in my little dimple, and go up. You could do it this way as well, doesn't matter. Just make sure that you're in the corner there. Swing your ruler around. You want to make sure that you get a good right there. I don't know what I keep getting on my stylus that I keep getting on my paper. So I just have a sand eraser here. There. There we go. One or the other is going to get it off. I don't know if it's on my ruler or if it's on my stylus. Okay, I only have a couple more left. The other thing is we don't know what's carrying over right now. So if there are any stamp sets that you want that you don't want to take a chance of them selling out, that's another thing that I would get right away, because we do not know what's carrying over. All right, so though that is all of our score lines. All right. Now we are going to fold and burnish on all of our horizontal and vertical folds. The diagonals we'll do in a second. Once you get this the first time, it's really easy. All right, and then let's go the other way. All right, now we are going to take our scissors, and with the small 1/4 inch fold over here, I guess it really doesn't matter for this part, but I just like holding it with this over here. You're going to cut up on every 3/4 inch score line on the top and on the bottom, except for this one. This one you can leave like that because we're just going to take it off. Okay, so we're taking off a square and a little rectangle. Rectangle and square. We're taking that off. All right, we're going to go around. I'm going to skip this little rectangle one because, again, we're going to be cutting that off. But we're going to go up on every 3/4 inch fold line, score line. Okay, and then I'm going to take this one off. Right like that. Then you're going to cut off every square that has the score lines, the diagonal score lines on top of it, or on the bottom of it. So we're moving the one that we're not cutting out of the way, and then just cutting off the ones that have the diagonal scores underneath of it. All right, so we'll skip that one. Every other one comes off. And the way you remember is you take off the ones where the score lines are. All right, so just like that. All right, now I am going to take the diagonal fold lines, score lines, and we're just going to use our fingernail, or you could use your bone folder, and we're just going to crease those. And that's why I'm saying it's easier, I think, with the when you use the Stampin' Pierce mat, because you get a deeper score line. All right, so just like that. All right, now we're going to take this and we're going to fold it over. Doesn't matter where you fold it over. Just fold it over. We're going to put a little glue right here on this little edge here. And then fold this over to match. And we're going to glue that shut. All right, now we are going to take the longer score lines, the longer triangle, that's the top of the egg. The one with the 1, 2, 3 or one cut off squares is the bottom. So we are going to close up the bottom first, and this is my back right here. So I'm going to put some glue right here, and I'm going to bring these two together. And I have found that your best friend on this is some kind of reverse tweezers, so you can help hold that together. Right? And then we're going to kind of push these together. It goes. You just had to kind of force it. And then we're going to put some more glue on here and put this one down. And you can also fit your tweezers in there to help hold it. All right. And then we'll put some more glue to close it up. You can also, the top squares fold down, so you can use that as leverage to hold it down. And we can open it up, and I'm going to use my bone folder, and I'm just going to give it a little push down here on the inside just to have it hold. All right, I am going to get some candy to put in this one. What I got here, I know the eggs will fit. Okay, so you can fit two of the mini Kit Kats, and then how many eggs can we fit in there? Oh, and then you can fit 4 eggs in there, maybe even 5. Yep, I'm going to put 5 eggs in there and 2 of the mini Kit Kats. All right, so now comes, it's not difficult, it's just a little harder. A little more challenging, I should say. Oh, well, you know what? We might only be able to fit one mini Kit Kat because we have to, yeah, one mini Kit Kat and then the 5 eggs because we want to make sure we can close this thing. All right, so what I did is I took a hole punch, and this is like a 1/4 inch hole punch. This is a Stampin' Up! One, but anyone will do. And I took one of the, it doesn't matter which one because they're all going to have a little hole in them. And if you don't want to do this part and you just want to seal them up, you don't have to. But I put a little hole in there. That way we can put our ribbon in there. Now you could fold this up and then kind of measure where your hole is going to go. I'm not going to do all that. All I did is just judged best as I could where the middle would be. But if you want to do the other, you certainly can. Take those out for the moment. All right. So that is going to be the string for our ribbon. All right. I am going to put these back in. You could put your little pieces of designer series paper on before if you want to. I put them on after and it worked fine. I'm taking 8 inches of this crinkle ribbon, and it's just easier to work with if you have the 8 inches. I don't think you necessarily need it, but it was just easier to do. All right, then I'm going to take this and fold it over, and I'm going to make a knot over here. And it's just easier for me to either use the stylus or your tweezers. I have fat fingers and long fingernails, so it's hard to get that over for me. All right, so I'm going to push this down. You do have to do 2 knots with this ribbon because it is smaller. Otherwise, it goes right through the hole. So I'm making two knots. And then this ribbon, let's see, that's the back. So that's where I want my ribbon to go into. And then I'm just sliding that through, just like that. And you can cut a little bit of this off. We don't need quite that much anymore. All right, then you're going to take, again, just because I wanted to make sure that this stayed closed, I put just a little bit of glue on here. I didn't put a lot. I just wanted to make sure that they did stay closed. If you don't care that it kind of comes up a little bit, then don't worry about it. It probably would have been better if I put the glue on after I put the ribbon through. All right, so now we're going to kind of, there's glue over here. I'm just going to kind of give that a pinch. And if they're real careful, they'll be able to get this apart without destroying it with the little bit of glue that I put on there. All right, this one I did not put any glue on, I believe. All right, so then that's just going to fold, and that's going to go on there, just like that. All right, now for this one, I have all of these little pieces of the designer series paper. That one's the one for the sentiment. These are a 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch, and the longer ones are 1/2 inch by 1 1/4. So I just put some glue. Yeah, this is one that's kind of coming apart because I didn't put a lot of glue on there. But I think it should hold once we get the other in there. All right, so I'm putting some glue on the outside of this so that I can put this little piece of Designer Series paper on here. All right, then I'm going to take my hole punch again, and I'm just going to punch another hole. Right. And then this ribbon is going to go through here, and I'm just using my stylist to help me. Just like that. All right, and this is what I mean by the other ribbon kind of was big enough to make it hold without any extra glue, and this one's actually not doing too bad, so maybe I'll just leave it and see what happens. All right, so we will continue to put, and I found it easier just to put the glue on the box itself, but you could certainly put it on the paper. Just keep in mind you know, where you're putting the glue at, because you don't want to get it outside of the strips of paper. So you need 4 of the 1 1/4 by 1/2 inch pieces. I don't remember if I told you that or not. And then you need 14 of the 1/2 inch square. All right, so those go on there nice. And that is staying pretty well. These, maybe it's because of the extra weight of the chocolate on the inside. That could be. Okay, so now we're just going to finish putting. And you could also, you don't have to put one on every single one of these. You don't want to. And you certainly don't have to put one on the bottom unless you're like hanging it on a tree and somebody's going to see the bottom of it. But what's one more little piece, right? But I'm going to make a couple more in Petal Pink, and I'm going to make a couple more in the Mint Macaron, since those are the colors of the Designer Series paper here, with the little patterns. And I have no idea where I'm going to put them, but it's all right. I liked making them. They come together. The time-consuming part of it is cutting all of the little pieces of Designer Series paper, which is not all that much. So when I was looking at the tutorial from Sam at Mixed Up Craft, or Crafts, I'm not for sure which it is. She had also made an Easter basket, but I'm not going to make an Easter basket. I didn't even look at the tutorial. 2 more. And then we'll just do a little sentiment. And if you were hanging them on a tree, then you wouldn't even need the little sentiment. But if you were doing like table favors, cute on as table favors. So I'm using the Easter Bunny stamp set. I'm just using the stamp set. An Easter treat for you. And some Sweet Sorbet ink. Get my mat out here. And this measures a 1/2 inch by about 3. Oh. All right, let's try it again. I had a feeling that I did that. I kind of moved it as I was placing it down. I always have all of these 1/2 inch strips all around from cutting out my layers. All right, much better. All right, so get that out of here. And then I took the Happy Labels stamp set, and I'm just putting that in here. Yep, I want it in that one. Okay. All right. I could have cut it off just a tad more, but that's all right. And then we will just trim this down just a little bit. So that it measures about 2, a little bit over, maybe 2 1/8. Then I'm taking my hole punch again. And I'm just making another little hole so that this can go in here. There we go. Now you could put another little dot of glue on there if you wanted to, so that it didn't swing around. Totally up to you. I'm just going to leave it as is. And then I took one of my 2224 in color matte adhesive dots. I think it would have looked better if I would have had a smaller one, but I do not have any smaller ones left. So I just took one of those and put that right there. And there you have it. That's all there is to it. All right. I think they are so cute. So here are the ones that I have done so far. Like I said, I'm going to make a couple more in the Petal Pink and the Mint Macaron just to have all the colors, because I like the designer series paper. But that is it. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave me a comment below. I'll be happy to answer them. All supplies can be purchased through my online store at happystamp.stampinup.net. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.